Overall, throughout the show, I really found myself relating to Anna. She's so bubbly.
Oh, not at you.
And quirky.
You've had enough.
And she's just super childlike. In this one episode, she's all these girls from this program for foster and probation kids come over to her house. And like, this all could have been, staged for the show. I mean, this is Hollywood. But there's this one scene where she just seems so genuine.
And I even jumped in the pool with what I had on, my own clothes, so they would jump in the pool with me.
The last one is Ryan.
And then there's also this iconic scene of Anna.
She's gonna be neutral, huh?
I'm just gonna shut up. I know nothing about nothing. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And at several points throughout the show, she really shows you why she is the sex icon that she is. Like, she's absolutely captivating.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, boy? Mm-hmm. Bring it on. Come on. Come on. I dare you. Come on, baby.
And Anna's so sex positive and pro-masturbation, and like, that's pretty cool for 2002. You can tell Anna comes from humble roots. Even though she's a diva, like in the show, she says like she tried caviar for the first time, like during the show. And like, there's this one scene where she's unfamiliar with the word concierge written, which like, same, no shade. She even says this about her first time being on an airplane.
I was about 21 and I was flying to Los Angeles to pose for Playboy.
Anna also seems like she's gone through struggles in life. Like in the very first episode, she's moving because she said she's had to deal with a stalker. And at several points throughout the season, she wears this tank top that has this sign on it that says no stalking instead of no parking. And then at some point during the show, and it's only this one time during the show, she mentions that she hasn't had sex in 2 years.
Just because I haven't had sex in 2 years doesn't mean that I don't want to feel sexy.
And I really wonder why this is. Like, I wonder if it has something to do with her stalker kind of ruining her trust in people. But like I said, the not having sex in 2 years is only mentioned that one time, and then throughout the rest of the show, you can see her being, hypersexual, just like Anna Nicole Smith is. She also says that the reason she quit school was because she got punched in the face twice after what she claims was playfully mocking a boy.
At high school, because this fucking kid beat me up, this boy.
So I'm sure that really didn't help her trust people. She just voices so much distrust for people, even including her own family. In one episode, Anna's cousin comes to her house with this camera crew that's trying to make a documentary about Anna. And Anna is not having it. She doesn't want to go out and see them. But then her cousin starts crying and saying she's not there for the documentary and that she just really wants to see Anna. But Anna still won't go out and see her. And then you almost feel bad for the cousin because Howard and Anna are kind of trash talking the cousin because of her teeth. But then Anna actually does decide to go out and get dinner with her cousin. Oh my God, she talks a ton. And they make a whole point of this. The cousin asks for a painkiller at the start of dinner, and then Anna also says this.
I want to get you a steak. No, that's okay. Shelly didn't eat much, but she sure had a lot to say.
So after this, I got the impression that Anna's cousin was dealing with her own drug issues. But like, were they trying to contrast Anna and her cousin? And then at the end of the night, the cousin asked for money twice.
And another thing, can I borrow like $5? I hate to ask you, can I borrow a couple of dollars?
It's in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Anna talks about how she's distanced herself from all her family back home in Texas, and you can see why. Anna also has this to say.
Asked me about my childhood. Well, I didn't have a childhood, so I'm living my childhood now.
Anna also has to deal with the public constantly talking about how she used to be a hot playmate and how she let herself go. The public honestly boiled everything down about Anna until it could just be thrown away. Just because she gained weight doesn't mean that she's not the hot, sexy, amazing playmate that she always was. Also, what if she was gaining weight because she was getting off drugs? Because the public also hated her so much for being a drug addict. Or even if she was actually gaining the weight because of drugs. Do you think that making someone feel like shit about their body is ever gonna put them in a place where they're happy enough not to rely on drugs? And then in the show, she has to deal with shit like this.
Bye. Au revoir. Mwah. Did you hear that guy? Look how big she is. What an asshole.
But you know, not all of Anna's childlike qualities are positive. She throws a lot of tantrums, and like, no shade, I can definitely relate to that. I actually watched the show because I was watching Frenemies, and Trisha was talking about this one scene where Anna's all upset because she loses an eating competition. To start off, when they are having this eating competition, she asks about thin crust pizza, which like kind of seems like she's trying to make it easier for herself. And then she also switches pizzas with Howard. And at first I thought she actually switched for the thinner one, but it might have been for the thicker one. I'm not really sure.
This is about as thin as it is. That's more. Let me have yours.
But basically, they made a rule for this eating competition. It's her, Howard, and Kim and her son Daniel all competing. And you're not allowed to throw up. But then at one point, Anna goes to the bathroom and Kim goes with her. And Howard gets suspicious that she's going to go throw up and cheat. So Howard follows Anna to the bathroom and listens at the door. And he can hear her gag. I mean, this doesn't necessarily mean that she threw up, but he did hear her gag. And then when Anna gets out of the bathroom, she throws a fit.
Howard, fuck you.
She tells Howard to get out of her life.
No, if you can't trust me, get out of my life.
If you want.
Get out, because you can't trust me. Get the fuck out of my life.
But then says that she never said that.
So what do you want?
I want you to leave me alone.
For life?
I didn't say that, Howard. You said it.
And, you know, Howard tried to reason with her, but nope.
It's a fucking eating contest. Don't you think you're blowing it a little bit out of proportion? Just a little bit?
I threw up.
A little bit?
No, you don't say I threw up.
And then Kim decides to simp for Anna, and they head to a tattoo parlor. The same one I talked about earlier. And Kim's gonna have Anna's signature added to her tattoo of Anna, and Anna's gonna have her ankle tattoo touched up.
Because Howard was such an asshole, Anna and I decided to get out of the house, so we went over to the tattoo parlor to get her tattoo touched up and her autograph on my arm.
And Anna also talks about how she thinks it's funny to drag out being mad at Howard.
He'll call Kimmy and say, is it done? Is it over? So I just let him sweat it out a little bit, you know. I'll wait a while, just let him sweat it out, you know, for a while.
But Anna also says this is because people hurt her and she really doesn't have any trust for them.
Always been untrustworthy, and I've always hurt me, and I've always, you know, I don't have anybody in my life but him and, you know, my purple-haired assistant.
And Howard also says Anna seems to get madder at people who are closer to her than people who are not.
You just used 1/3 of your anger that you use on Kimmy and me on somebody who tries to screw you. they wouldn't take
I
advantage of it?
can't, because if I let my anger out, I'd hurt someone.
And I really relate to that. I feel like that's a BPD thing. If not, go bitch somewhere else. It is for me. So Anna's a single mom, and there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that she's an amazing mother and she always did as best as she could and that she loved her son. But just throughout the show, her interactions with Daniel seem really put on. And like, maybe that's just because she wants to overcompensate, because in the 2000s, it was borderline impossible for a sex icon and a good mother to be synonymous. Okay, now, what Anna is probably the most notorious for: her marriage to an 88-year-old billionaire. So it basically just comes up in one episode, but it is in every single intro. And the intro kinda paints her like a gold digger. She says she obviously wasn't physically attracted to him.
You didn't feel attracted to him, or did you?
No, there was no physical attraction at all.
Ever?
Ever.
But she married him because he really wanted her, and he chased her for 2 years.
He was attracted to you, though.
Oh, yes.
The assumption was that you met him, took advantage of him, married him in a week.
Yeah.
You did not.
No.
He asked you to marry him and was after you for 2.5 years.
Yes, he was.
Why?
And also because she promised it to him and owed it to him.
Why did you finally accept?
Because I promised him that I would marry him after I made something of myself. It was time to do something, and I wanted to have children. I owed it to him, I wanted kids, and it was time to get married.
Which, I'm not exactly sure how to take that.
Was it difficult to be physical with someone that much older?
No.
Would you say you loved him?
I loved him very much.
She maintains that she did truly love him, but more for what he did for her than who he was.
It wasn't physically, oh my God, you hot, hot body, you know, like that. I mean, he truly loved me, and I loved him for it.
And she does genuinely seem to love and appreciate all the things that he's done for her.
I loved him for so much what he did for me and my son. I've never had love like that before. No one has ever loved me and done things for me and respected me and didn't care about what people said about me.
She really tries to make it clear that she didn't take advantage of him. He chose her. But also what she misses most about him is the security.
What I miss most about Howard is the love that he gave to me, the security. I felt safe with my husband, and I miss that. I miss him deeply.
I found it interesting that Anna actually wanted her husband buried, and her husband's son actually wanted him cremated, because burial costs a lot more, and that just doesn't really indicate that she's a gold digger to me.
Anna wanted Howard Marshall buried, and Pierce Marshall wanted Howard Marshall cremated.
But her husband ended up being cremated, and her and his son end up splitting the ashes. And then there's this one scene where Anna's bringing his ashes into her new place, and it's really emotional. But also, I kept thinking, you know, she is an actress, she's been in movies, so I'm not really sure how sincere this whole thing was. So she's showing him around her new place, and she's crying.
See? See all the things you got me? I still have them. Pierce didn't get those.
But there's this scene.
There's the kitchen. Food. I have money now.
And I just think the scene's weird, and the giggle at the end. They did blur his urn in the show. And I find that to be respectful.
Once the ashes were here.
I don't think Anna was a gold digger. I think that this older man could have been perfectly content, you know, giving this upcoming young starlet security so that she would be by his side. And like, to each their own. This might seem like a bad dynamic, but like, you don't refuse a prisoner his last meal because you think it's gross. And I'm really not sure if that's the best analogy, but that's the one I'm gonna go with. I think Anna had a really rough start to life, and she had her eyes set on something that was bigger and better and brighter. But her line between lover and caretaker was blurred. The two are one. But at the same time, Anna also doesn't seem to want people to like her for what she has, but who she is. But this is what she did to her husband, basically. And I believe she does think that that's genuine, that that's nice, that that's not something that's wrong.